10th May 1940, and Operation Fall Gleb, the German invasion of the Low Countries, Belgium, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, and France, begins. Goering farewells his troops and subsequently tells Hitler it will all be over in 3 days. You got that wrong, fat boy. As the engines of the Luftwaffe Air Armada warm up, Heinkel HE-111 bombers lift into the sky to launch a surprise attack on Dutch airfields at Decoy, The Hague, and Amsterdam Schiphol. And shortly after, over 500 Ju-52 transport planes of the Luftwaffe's Transportgruppen, laden with Fallschirmjägers and their equipment, lurch into the air to support the surprise air attacks on the Dutch airfields and to try to secure the key bridges at Rotterdam, Dordrecht, and Moerdijk. Green light, and it is time to go. This will be easy, they have been told. There will be little resistance. They will soon learn that this is not the case at all. Thousands of highly trained Fallschirmjägers leap out of perfectly sound aircraft to float gently down to the Dutch homeland. They hit the ground running and quickly shed their parachute harnesses and race to the equipment canisters. Time now to outfit with the tools of war and load up with ammunition and supplies, enough to last up to 3 days before relief arrives. Loaded up, they then charge bravely into the inexplicable smoke that has mysteriously covered the drop zone. Contact, and the air is filled with the sound of small arms fired and explosions, as battle is joined with the Dutch troops at the bridges at Rotterdam, Dordrecht, and Moerdijk. Meanwhile, the 254th and 256th Infantry Divisions fire up engines and start the drive forward into Dutch territory, quickly overrunning the light defences offered at the border crossing points. General Georg von Kukler being heard to say to some junior officers that this will be a piece of piss. Meanwhile, Panzer IIs and Panzer IIIs of the 9th Panzer Division move across the frontier in support of ground troops in a concerted assault to smash through Dutch defences at Gennep in order to link up with the 254th and 256th Infantry Divisions to form the 26th Army Corps. Once the Dutch forces have been taken care of, the 26th Army Corps will then drive south into Belgium in support of Army Group B under Fedor von Bock. The German attack slices through the scant defences with little delay, and morale is bubbling over. The chatter among the troops is confident. This will be easier than Poland. With the floodgates open, the German army streams forward for an assault on the Grebe line in the east by the 207th and 227th Infantry Divisions. Armoured cars and the remaining panzers of the 9th moving forward in close support. The intent to drive the Dutch defenders back to the Fortress Holland line or beyond. German artillery batteries open up to soften up the defenders as the infantry and armour press forward in classic blitzkrieg fashion. Seemingly nothing can stand up to the might of the German Wehrmacht. But suddenly, the gates of hell are flung open, and the noise of 1,000 artillery pieces firing at once deafens all protagonists. Death and destruction rains down on the advancing German forces as they find they have the dubious honor of being the first units in history to be on the receiving end of the Royal Halidonian Artillery Regiment. A withering barrage of artillery and rocketry smash the attacking forces to a standstill as suddenly finding cover and safety become the new priority. With over 30,000 shells fired in 2 hours, the German attack is broken up and confusion begins to set in. Now, Halidonian infantry begin to move forward, and it is time for the Royal Halidonian Armoured Division to mount up and get into the fight. These tanks are like nothing the world has seen. Big, powerful, well-armoured, and sporting a huge 90mm main gun, they are without doubt the alpha predator of the battlefield. Watch out, Mr. Hitler. Your day is about to take a serious turn for the worse. Fire! 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 The Halidonian tanks engage with elements of the 9th Panzer Division, every shot seemingly finding its target, every target exploding in a ball of flames. The Halidonian tank, affectionately known as the Dugite, lives up to their namesake reputation, moving rapidly and striking fiercely. A brief but willing exchange of fire ensues. The brave panzer crews, undaunted by the withering fire of this unexpected enemy. However, the element of surprise and the superior firepower of the Halidonian forces soon take their toll. As the German attack wavers, the Dugites drive directly into range of the German infantry and help them to make up their minds about staying or going. The onslaught continues, with the outnumbered but technically superior Dugites knocking out enemy tanks with unerring accuracy. This is definitely not a safe place for any vehicle sporting the Balkenkreuz. And then suddenly, the German tanks break, more of a rout than a withdrawal. These boys are heading for the hills. But the trauma is still not over for the invaders. The Halidonian Air Force, who to this point have been providing high-altitude battlefield intelligence, now swoop down to engage the retreating enemy. There will be no hiding on the way back home for the 9th Panzer Regiment. It has not all been one-way traffic. In the south, elements of the 207th Infantry Regiment, with support of the 1st Cavalry Division, enter the outskirts of Helmond on the road to Eindhoven, and bitter house-to-house fighting ensues. Heavily outnumbered and outgunned, the Halidonian reconnaissance units fall back and hold on until the Dugites come to the rescue. A short, sharp, and extremely fatal firefight sees an end to the tenuous German gains at Helmond, with Dutch regular infantry arriving to assist with the mop-up of German forces. One Halidonian dugite, call sign Bite Me, credited with over 20 destroyed enemy tanks and vehicles in the brief action. Captured German panzer crews consistently told the same story. Where did the enemy tanks come from? It was like they just appeared as if by magic. Thus ends the first day of the German invasion of the Netherlands. The conflict not yet over, but the main body of the invading forces sent packing with a very painful flea in their collective ears. The relief columns expected by the Fallschirmjägers will not arrive. The German thrust down into Belgium will not transpire. The might of the German forces has been met and defeated. The war has taken a decidedly unexpected turn, and the German High Command and the rest of the world are left wondering, who are these Halidonians?